This is Lindsay Says, because somebody has to say it. I never thought I would say that. Welcome back, besties. This is Lindsay Says, because somebody has to say it. And if you're listening, congratulations, you have survived Mercury in retrograde. I don't know if anybody else follows that stuff, but this was like the longest Mercury in retrograde ever, and everything was being wacko. And my mom thinks I'm nuts. Hi, Mom. I know you're listening. But every time that Mercury's in retrograde, I tell my mom, and she's like, what? What are you talking about? And why is it always going on? I feel like it's always in retrograde. Nope. It's just like twice a year, and it just happened to be like really, really long. But now we're also in spring. It's springtime. Mercury is not in retrograde. We are thriving. We are ready. We made it. And so much has been going on as usual in my life in Bravo, but like, wow. I mean, I was overstimulated by Bravo this week. In the beginning of the week, I was like, I'm bored. There's no show on Sundays. There's really like only Below Deck on Mondays. I don't have a whole lot to talk about. And then by like Tuesday, Wednesday, I was like, I am gonna like scream. There is so much going on, and we're gonna get into all of it, but let's start with a little bit about me. Last Sunday, so my husband and I went out with some friends for his birthday. His birthday was on the 13th, and his bestie's birthday's on the 14th, and so we just went out to Detroit and had some drinks. And I mean, we were very tame. We don't really get that wild anymore, but thank goodness, because in the morning, we were supposed to possibly go meet my friend's new baby that they had a couple of months ago. We were finally making time to meet him. And I'm just sitting on the couch with my firstborn. And he just decides that he says out of nowhere, like, Mama, help me. Like, I don't feel good. I get snuggled up next to him, and he puked all over me. I almost posted the picture on my Instagram, but I was like, this is just too disgusting. I don't think people want to see this. But it was like immediate bath. And you guys, if I wasn't tame anymore, if I was like how I used to be, I would have thrown up with him. But my son, for those of you who have been with me since the beginning, I've been doing this. It'll be 2 years, April 6th, I think that's the date, of me doing Bravoholic stuff. And when I started, I was pregnant with my second born. And if you've been here since the beginning, this might shock you, but he turned 18 months on Thursday. 18 months. And he had his 18-month checkup. Things have been crazy. I just can't believe that he's that old. Time flies, but also in the same day I'm giving my babies a bath, I bathe with them. I mean, I'm sure at some point I need to stop because my son is almost 3.5, but whatever. There's crazier things. And I noticed that the water wasn't as hot as it usually is. And so one of our water heaters, we randomly have two that it came with the house like that. But one of our water heaters broke. Okay. And I told my husband, and he's like, okay, we're going to handle this. He called the people. Then in the morning, before the people even came, I'm walking downstairs. It's frigid. Guess what? Our heater broke. And we happen to have two heaters too. Don't ask. We did not do this. But I think they built like an extension on our house. Like I think our master wasn't originally there. Like they built something above the garage, and so they needed a second heater. But our whole house freezing. So on Friday, a few times a week, I have a babysitter come for like 2 hours so I can get some of this stuff done because I'm primarily a stay-at-home mom, but I do this obviously. And so I need those 2 hours to get stuff done. And my babysitter came, and while the babysitter was there, I had to deal with the heat people, the water heat people. Everything was going on that I had like zero time to get stuff done. So I was extremely overstimulated. And then my husband was extremely overstimulated because he had like work lunches. And it's Friday. We just want to hang. And so we had a bit of like a Bravo moment because we don't really argue unless we are overstimulated, like beyond or hungry, or like no matter what, if one of us has to like build something and we end up doing it together, or like even hanging a picture on the wall, there will be an argument. Like that's like for sure. But I was so upset with him because I was asking him, like, long story short, what's for dinner? Because I cook every day of the week. And then on the weekends, I don't want to cook. I just want him to like click reorder on like Chipotle or something. It's the easiest thing to do. And I just was like, hey, what's for dinner? And he just looked at me the wrong way. Okay. And the kids were awake. So I'm like, I'm going to hold this conversation until the kids go to sleep. Okay. If you're a parent, you understand. You just have to kind of hold on to that anger. So the kids are asleep. We're watching something with Will Ferrell. Love him. I don't even know what the show is. It was old. I'm going to have to ask Tori if we get him on. He's with the kids right now. I think he's tucking Boone in right now. But he would not like give in. I'm like, you're wrong. You're wrong. Okay. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know what? We have a Ring camera in our backyard, and we were like having a mini moment in the backyard when he looked at me sideways. And I was like, pull up the footage. Okay. And I was like, I dug through it. I'm like, I found it. Like, you are going to be so sorry. Okay. I'm looking at it and I just start laughing. You guys, I don't even want to like fully say that I was wrong, because like he did look at me sideways and you couldn't see his face in the Ring camera, but he was, you know, it was, I owned it. Okay. Like, I just feel like we got a moment on like the people do on Bravo, and you're like, wait a second, like watching that back, maybe it wasn't as bad. And like, maybe we both need to apologize. And so we were like, do we need cameras everywhere to like resolve all of, you know, if we ever have an issue, just in case. But it was quite we were housewives, and guess what? My inner housewife did come out for a minute there. Happens to the best of us. Tonight we get a little date night out. Tori's dad and stepmom just out of nowhere were like, can we have a sleepover with the kids? Yeah, you can. So we're going to go to the Red Wings game tonight and just have fun. Also, something fun that happened the other day, I got an email that I was invited to this Hulu event. Let me pull up what it's called. It's called Get Real, Unscripted, Unfiltered, Up Close, in Beverly Hills. So I get to go in a month, and I got to bring a +1. So of course Tori's coming with me because he helps me get my content. Like, I need him to be there. Also, like, he wants to be, but the list is pretty cool. It's Kardashians. It gets interesting because of everything going on right now, because Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, Bachelor people. It's going to be interesting to see who actually goes now because of everything going on. So I know that Secret Lives of Mormon Wives isn't Bravo, but I feel like everybody that watches Bravo watches Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Oh, also the Vanderpump Villa people will be at the Hulu thing, and I'm excited to meet all of them. And I really hope that Stassi goes, because she's somebody that I've always loved in Bravo. I love her. And I hope Lisa Vanderpump is there too, obviously. But everything going on with Taylor, Frankie, Paul, my goodness. I mean, we've seen the show. We know that Dakota is that stereotypical, like worse than stereotypical, toxic ex that is just like, you could tell that when she got the Bachelorette job that he was going to do whatever he possibly could to make that not happen. Like, you could just feel this vibe. They're that couple, in case you don't know, they're that type of couple that breaks up and gets back together, but they happen to have a baby in like the middle of that. Like, they were together, had a baby, broke up, got back together, like messy. And I've always felt like she was a little bit cuckoo. Okay, like all of those girls are. But I was on her side because that's just what I do. I am team girl. I always had a feeling that Taylor was psycho, but I blame him. Like, you know, like sometimes women are crazy because they were made to be crazy, but I think that she just was like originally crazy because, I mean, look at what she put online, all of this swinger stuff, and like created mom talk because this group is just kind of nuts. And I saw this meme that said these wives are doing this stuff because they never like went out and partied in their early 20s. And that's exactly what it is. Like, there's something weird about Salt Lake City, Utah, that people are like not supposed to do bad things, and then they do worse things than like these bad things. But so this video came out from TMZ of like some triggering stuff. So I'm not going to say all of it, but she was just doing some DV stuff with stools, and her daughter was in the room, and her daughter may have been involved in some way. You got to go watch those videos. They're very disturbing. But I had a feeling right after that ABC was going to pull The Bachelorette, and that's exactly what they did. They pulled The Bachelorette, and it's just insane because they put so much money into this. Like, I'm hearing they're losing $20 to $30 million from her, from this season being ruined. I mean, every guy that comes on the show, I think they make like at least $50,000. And fun fact, I might have applied way back in the day. But you make like $50,000, and then every week after, like, it's like 5 weeks or something like that, you make more as long as you're on the show. But these guys like quit their jobs, left home, wanted to have some sort of fame or a relationship with Taylor, Frankie, Paul, and boom, they get nothing. It's like they never did this. Like, I feel so bad for them. I feel bad for the producers, the editors, how much work they put into this. Pretty insane. And the fact that ABC, like, I used to watch The Bachelor every single season, and it was getting boring. It just was kind of becoming the same old thing, and I was excited to see something new. I'm not sure that Taylor, Frankie, Paul was the right choice. Like, I haven't watched in years, and I would have watched for her. Like, they were on the right track. But I think they should have done somebody, that's popular and sane, like Sierra Miller would have been a better choice. Or people have always said Khloe Kardashian, not that she would necessarily do it. Then Dakota recently made a request for a restraining order against Taylor, and that was granted. Okay. And Dakota has the child. And I don't know that that was necessarily the right choice. I feel so bad for this child. I think this child needs to be with neither of them right now. I think they both need some serious help. And I really think that this was his plan all along, to air this video and footage and whatever he possibly could so she wouldn't be on the show. Like, I got the vibe from the beginning that he was not going to let this happen. And it really is giving me, and many others, Tell Me Lies vibes. I don't know if you've watched that show that's also on Hulu. It's like spot on. Like, so the Steven guy had this video footage of this girl, Lucy, and he was like threatening to put it out all the time to ruin her life. And that's very familiar. And it's so interesting. Okay, hear me out. Because Secret Lives of Mormon Wives was connected to Vanderpump Villa because Marciano and Demi and Jesse had, all of their flirting and cheating allegations and things like that. And those are both Hulu shows. Okay. Then Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and The Bachelor are connected because of ABC and Disney. It's all connected. They're all going to be at the Hulu party. Okay. And guess what else is Hulu? Tell Me Lies. Like, I feel like on some level, it just connects a little too much. But I don't know that I believe that this happened. I believe that Taylor is that toxic and Dakota is that toxic. It just is so weird and coincidental that it so perfectly connects to Tell Me Lies on Hulu. Am I thinking too much? I've just been on too many deep dives on TikTok that I'm like, everything is a conspiracy. But the signs are being taken down everywhere, all over LA. And Taylor made, a spokesperson for her made a statement saying Taylor is very grateful for ABC support as she prioritizes her family's safety and security after years of silently suffering extensive mental and physical abuse, as well as threats of retaliation. Taylor is finally gaining the strength to face her accuser, taking steps to ensure that her and her children are protected from any further harm. There are too many women who are suffering in silence as they survive aggressive, jealous ex-partners who refuse to let them move on with their lives. Taylor has remained silent out of fear of further accusations, retaliation, and public shaming. She is currently exploring all of her options, preparing to own and share her story. So that sounds to me like she is taking the victim route, which I just think, like, no matter what, I will never forget that her child was in that room in that video that you need to watch. It's on TMZ. They have it. It's all over the place. Nothing could push me to where she was, that limit. There's just no way, and she is not well, and I wish her well. But I really wonder what's going to happen to The Bachelor. I feel bad for people, but I do think that they picked the wrong person to save the franchise. All right, on to Say Less, Spill More. Say Less, Spill More. So all of the housewives got together recently on Capitol Hill, not all of them, but Nene, Phaedra, Marisol, Candace, Luann, Erica, Melissa, to advocate to support HIV prevention treatment. And this was so nice to see. They all looked so beautiful. But not only is this just like great to see the housewives get together for a good cause, this does hit close to home because I did have an uncle that passed from AIDS in the 90s when I was 2. So I will always support any sort of AIDS, HIV, anything, prevention. So I really appreciate them getting together for such an important cause. In Real Housewives of Atlanta news, Marlo, our girl Marlo, was spotted with Tyler Perry, and they were super cozy. It looked like they were at some sort of luncheon get together for Tyler Perry, like he was the center of the attention. But Marlo's arm was around his arm, like on this booth. Like there was a huge table, and they're sitting at the back in the center. They seemed very, very cozy. Okay. Very, very cozy. And someone came on somewhere to squash this and said they are not together, but I do not believe that. So go look for that video and let me know what you think. I think they're together. In Real Housewives of Miami news, her girls are put on pause. I mean, I made a post immediately when I heard this news, and I was so upset. I feel like as time goes on, I get more upset about it because this is like, I think I have 2 favorites right now, and it's Salt Lake City and Miami, and they go back and forth, like whichever one is like better at the moment. I don't understand getting rid of our girls, and apparently it's due to bad ratings, and people don't believe that there are bad ratings, but I know that there were because they specifically moved. If you remember, Miami was on like Wednesday or something, and they moved it to whatever day OC was on to right after because of bad ratings. And I remember complaining, like, there's only 2 shows on right now. Why do they have to be on the same day? And it was because of bad ratings. And Stephanie made a post saying, like, maybe you guys shouldn't have aired us in the middle of summer, like travel season, like people are not inside watching TV. And I think she has a great point, but she also said, see you later. It's also just so crazy because there was a 3-part reunion, and it wasn't just like a whatever 3-part reunion. It was insane. It was nuts. And I'm hearing today, speaking of the reunion and who made the reunion, I have like a bobby pin, like stabbing my skull. But during the reunion, the person that made the reunion interesting was Adriana. And according to the news today from Bravo and Cocktails, I don't know if this is true or not, but they're saying that,
come up here, climb up here.
My son found me. Can you say Andy Cohen?
Andy Cohen.
Can you say Real Housewives of Miami?
Real Housewives.
Can you say the Real Housewives of Potomac?
Hi, Potomac.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome today. We can see you. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are you singing into the microphone?
Oh, yeah.
What's the line that Dada taught you yesterday?
Hmm?
The what's up.
What's up?
He said, what's up, dog?
What's up, dog?
Can you say Lisa Hochstein?
What's a Hochstein?
Can you say baby gorgeous?
Baby gorgeous.
Can you say bravo?
Bravo.
Can you say, how could you do this to me? Question mark.
How's a question in dinosaur?
Dinosaur. Can you say,
Have more triceratops.
triceratops?
That's cool. What are those?
This is light. Mama's doing her podcast.
Cool podcast, Mama.
Do you want to tell us any sort of dinosaur facts?
I wonder this T-Rex was up. I think it was a T-Rex was a statue.
The T-Rex was a statue?
He was.
Really? Did you find Mama all by yourself just now?
I did. But you opened the door all by yourself.
You're right. Is Dada tucking in Booney right now?
No. I think there's a bathroom in there. It's a blue shower. There's shower in there.
Can you say Andy Cohen's got the 411?
And going to the female one dinosaur birthday cake.
Okay, we're going to put you down for a nap, okay?
Oh, I just don't want to nap. But he's right here.
Okay, love you, bye. That's my life lately, you guys. I'm trying to get anything done, and I get interrupted at least 3 times. That's the second time I've been interrupted during this podcast, but we're going to make it through. We're going to be good. But if I had to choose between, I also heard rumors, okay? I don't know where I just ended, but I heard rumors that they chose, there's a bunch of rumors flying around, that they chose RHOM over Miami. And if that's the case, I think that's such a mistake. Like, I think the new RHOM reboot is going to be better than the other reboot, but I don't understand, like, making a gamble like that. Okay, like, we know that Miami is good. We do not know that RHOM is going to be good, especially with the new people. Like, John Gosling's ex-girlfriend seems so problematic with what she was saying about Claudia Oshry from The Toast. Like, do we really want a body shamer as a housewife? Like, I don't think so. And then I was hearing something about the Daisy girl, that she has posted some questionable things about politics, and I don't really get into that kind of stuff, but it's like, I'm a little bit concerned that we would pick that over Miami. But I was hearing that they were close to filming. I think we all heard that, and that they had Gertie on the chopping block, Julia on the chopping block, and I'm hearing today that Lisa Hochstein was also on the chopping block, which I find insane. She's probably my favorite housewife. I find her to be so naturally funny and just like not even trying, and I'm sorry, you guys, if you're watching me, I'm like picking at my bun because there's a bobby pin like stabbing me. I've heard rumors that they were going to get rid of her because she's always late, but I feel like she was getting better. And then I was also hearing that Adriana was going to be cut, that those 4 were already cut before they decided to cancel the show. And canceling Adriana is wild to me when she just made the reunion. She made the whole season. But I did hear that at the Ultimate Girls Trip filming, there were some arguments going on at the party when they were in Miami, and it was specifically with Adriana, and I'm wondering if she was like problematic, but they were going to keep Alexia and didn't know what to do about Todd and if they were going to film him or not. And it's like, how do you keep them, who were literally suing Bravo, over Adriana? I just don't know how this happened. I don't know how we went from one of the best reunions ever and an amazing season to this. And I'm also hearing that the producers were not pleased with the panel that they had at BravoCon, that they were like bored of it, and it was kind of a bad panel. Like Adriana was like leaning into the coffee maker of it all, the Haitian mortician, and saying that Phaedra Parks was the Haitian mortician. It just was not entertaining. But like we've had, Roni has had at least one season that was not entertaining. Season, not just panel. Like I don't know how we got here. Lisa Hochstein made a story the other day saying, like, calm down, we'll be back, which I don't even think that she was going to be back. And she's been pretty quiet since her split with, I almost said Lacey, Jody. And then Alexia was saying how important this show is with the culture. There's so many different cultures in one show, languages, different dynamics. I believe that Julia was our first lesbian housewife with Martina. It's a shame. And I'm hearing that they're not coming back anytime soon, even though Andy wants them to. Real Housewives of New Jersey news. Okay, like, I don't even know if this is true anymore, because last week we were talking about casting for Real Housewives of Miami, and now we're talking about casting for New Jersey, and they're saying they're close to sending out contracts and filming. I don't know. I don't know what to believe, because things can change like that. And this is another franchise that it's like, okay, we've been there, done that, same storyline, same thing. Like, do I want them gone? Do I want Roni gone? No, but I would have picked Miami over them. And I'm hearing that the cast so far is Dolores, Teresa, and Melissa, allegedly. And they showed some other people, which obviously we don't know them. I don't know. Also, Dolores' daughter got engaged this weekend, snowboarding on top of a mountain. Very cute. Excited for the whole family. Frankie, Dolores, and her daughter. They're all, and Frank Sr. They were all in happily wedded bliss, engaged bliss. In Vanderpump news, according to a few Bravo people, Lisa Vanderpump is selling Tom Tom and like all of her restaurants, but I'm hearing Tom Tom like for sure, allegedly. I'm not sure if I trust the source, okay? It is interesting though, because we're hearing on Vanderpump Rules that SUR is not doing as well as they used to, and we're hearing from people like in West Hollywood that they're not doing well even at Pride, when Pride was like their biggest day. And so I'm wondering if it's true. I don't think that she would sell all of her restaurants, like the Vegas ones, the one in the Wolf one. I don't think so. Maybe just Tom Tom. Maybe she doesn't want to be connected with the Toms anymore. I think that would make sense, but not all of them. And in other Vanderpump news, Vanderpump Villa comes back on April 16th on Hulu. No Marciano, Stassi's back, Lisa's back, that Hannah girl is back. They're in England this year, and it looks like there's mostly new people. So I'm excited to see what it's going to be like. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City news. Heather Gay is writing a novel, a thriller novel called Eternal Glow, and it comes out on April 6th. I won't be buying. Not a fan of her at the moment, but excited for her. I just feel like I hear enough of her like storytelling on the show. I hear enough of her like speeches. And in other Salt Lake City news, we have a new girl apparently that is filming right now. I don't know how much a part of the show she's going to be, but her name is Ashley Quai. And I Googled how to pronounce this. I made a post about it, and Google said it was pronounced K. Okay. But somebody in my comments said that they know her personally and it's pronounced like Quai, which very well could be. So her name is Ashley Quai, but she goes by Quai. And she was filming with them. She is friends with Whitney because Whitney was friends with her sister-in-law. And she is the girl that passed on this season in 2023 when Whitney was super upset. And I can't remember who was like trying to talk to Whitney, but Whitney was like, dude, like I'm mourning my best friend right now. I forget what the whole thing was, but she definitely talked about her friend on the show. I don't think that we ever saw Quai before though. But She's a biker. She has a daughter that's 23. She got married in 2024 in Vegas. And they have video footage of her with the ladies, and she was wearing a green wig and she was crying with Lisa Barlow and Meredith, which to me means she's crying about the other girls and not about Meredith and Lisa, you know? I'm excited to see some new blood, and I'm excited to see if she gets a snowflake before Brittany Bateman. Like, that would be insane. Also, Mary was not on this trip that they were all on together in San Francisco, and it was seeming like Bronwyn and Brittany were throwing this trip together because they were like leading the way in some of the videos. Also, Bronwyn was smoking a cigarette and like passing it back and forth between, I believe it was Angie K. In Southern Hospitality news, Grace Lilly was arrested again. Feel bad for her. I made a post about it. I just really worry with everything with Robert Jr. And I hope she's okay. I'm hearing that it's Klonopin. I don't really know much about Klonopin, but just based on like watching the show and seeing her, she does not seem well. And this most recent episode, she was like coming for Maddie, like for what? And Charlie, word on the street, according to another creator, shout out to Charleston Bravoholic. She lives in Charleston, and she knows all of the inside scoop and saw that Charlie and the new guy, Justin from Southern Hospitality, have been together since around September. And it's interesting because on the most recent episode of Southern Hospitality, he like is like a self-proclaimed player. Says like he's not a relationship guy, takes things day by day, is kind of laughing about like getting into a relationship, is totally into Mia. I mean, she's gorgeous, and into this other girl, Jordan, that we thought that he was in a relationship with, but then Mia was like single, and he was like, yeah, who's Jordan, essentially. So I worry for Charlie. I worry for our girl Charlie, but she does not have a good picker so far with little Craigie. Not little Craigie the dog, but Craig. I also saw this post from Justin, the new guy, on TikTok. I'm like 99.999% sure it's him, but he was like hiding behind a wall. Go look for it. Justin Assad. Hiding behind the wall, and then he like walks out and he's talking about Taylor Frankie Paul, and it was just a really weird video. And in other hospitality news, they will have a real reunion this year. So congrats to them. They will not just be in the clubhouse. They will have a real set as of right now. There is a lot of drama going on about Austin right now. We will get into more of what he said on the reunion, but he essentially was being super hypocritical about himself and Sally, and saying that Sally is like a bar rat and kind of calling her a hoe, okay? And basically saying that if she wasn't, he would be more interested, and kind of sick. And earlier before this, not just kind of sick, very, before the reunion aired, Sally made a TikTok of her in Austin walking, and it said, "Move, biatch. They think we're dating." And it's like her pushing him off of the sidewalk, which was interesting. And then after the reunion, she made a post saying, "Nothing's louder than people judging others for the very thing they are guilty of. Hypocrisy really looks bad under the spotlight." Okay, so who do you think that's about? Austin. So then Austin commented on this post saying, "Everyone thinking they know what you're talking about is sending me. The message clearly speaks to many different people, and I say preach." Okay, Austin. One thing I do love about Sally is that she like leans into it. Like whatever the topic is, she's just going to lean into it. She's just going to own it. And I think Austin deserves this treatment. And I think he's like trying to make light of it in the comments, but it's totally about him, and he totally deserves it. And somebody else that's giving it to Austin is Dorinda. What are you doing here without Dorinda? So Dorinda posted on her story She's pissed at Austin, saying, "Is this really a convo in 2026? The hypocrisy and slut shaming is disturbing. Do what you want when you want, any day of the week," to Sally. And Sally reposted it. I mean, do what you want, Sally. This is the stuff, when you really think about this season, Sally has not done anything that crazy. She's pick me. She is boy crazy. She was interested in Austin before Audrey and him split, but she didn't really she was rude to Audrey. I mean, I wouldn't be happy with that treatment, but other than that, it's that people on this channel have done much worse that has been forgiven. Think about Tom Schwartz. He has full-blown cheated on Katie Maloney, and people will just be like, "Oh, I don't know why I have such a soft spot for him. He's just so adorable." And it's and then you're going to be so rude about Sally because she was not a girl's girl in one situation. And believe me, I do not like what she did. And I would never do what she did. And I would not want to necessarily be close with somebody that did what she did. But as a person on this platform, people have done so much worse. And when it comes to men speaking to her the way that Austin is and the way that Craig has, I will have Sally's back to the day I die. People have done much worse. And if you really think about it, Charlie was coming in on somebody that Sally had a crush on. She wasn't being a girl's girl. Not that Sally owns Craig or anything, but that was not fully being a girl's girl. And people love Charlie, and I think it's because she seems oh, so sweet. People love the ones that act like a little puppy dog, off in the corner, don't hurt me. And Sally just kind of owns her shit. She kind of just is what she is. She's just whatever. I think people need to be nicer to Sally. In Summer House news, Amanda posted on her story, I believe this week on Instagram, that she was organizing her apartment. She had a home edit type people come out, people that, organize your stuff in containers, find a home for every one of your objects. They just organized her whole apartment. And I'm so excited for her because that's one of the things that Kyle claimed to be so bad about her. It's giving batteries and toilet paper. But she's, just thriving on her own. Maybe she just needed a little bit of happiness to want that for herself, to have a clean apartment. And I love it for her. Other Summer House news. Paige and Kourtney Kardashian have been collabing with Lemmy and Daphne. And if you didn't know, Paige, her voice, her sound was on last season of the Kardashians. Kourtney used her sound, "Here's your shot if you want to see with sunglasses," blah, 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 that sound, but they didn't use her voice. And so I feel this was just full circle. I'm excited for her. They're sitting on a bed in cute pajamas, eating Lemmy gummies. And there's a lot of little posts with them together. And it makes me wonder if Paige will be on this season. If they filmed this for the Kardashian season, I'd be pretty excited for her. Paige was also in an Oscars commercial. Sierra was on the red carpet for the Oscars. Giggly Squad won Best Podcast of the Year with iHeartRadio. And she beat out Alex Cooper. They beat out Hannah and Paige. And why can't I think of her name? Amy Poehler. They beat her out too. Lots of big people. Theo Von killed it. Also, if you didn't hear, 1 week ago, Kyle Cook was on Watch What Happens Live, and Andy Cohen said, out of everyone in Bravo, what woman would you be interested in the most? And he said Maura, even though she's not Bravo, but connected through traders. And somebody asked Maura about Kyle Cook, would you be interested? And she said, "Who's Kyle Cook?" It's giving Brooks Nader when she was asked about Craig Conover. In Real Housewives of Beverly Hills news, right before I started this today, I'm recording on Saturday today. I typically record on Fridays, but yesterday was absolutely insane with the heat and the water and the babies. But Amanda, I don't fully feel bad for her. I people were mad at me in the comments this week because I don't really feel bad for her when people are coming for Amanda, and people think that's mean girl of me. But I just think that she isn't being herself. She's hiding something really big, and she's just acting a certain way. I don't know. I just think that she needs to kind of be put in her place on this show by the other women. And I think that's where, like, I'm giving Sally grace because men are mean to her, and I don't like that. But when it's like girls on girls, I think it's like somewhat fair game in certain situations. Like, I think like any treatment that Amanda is getting is not that big of a deal. Like, the mask thing was a little bit harsh, and I do think that Bose should have owned it, but I don't think that she remembered. Like, I really don't. But she also wasn't saying like that's what Amanda's face looks like. She was saying that it's like a Pinocchio mask and Amanda is a liar. Okay. It's still not that nice. It's still very much like kindergarten. Okay. But like, out of all the mean things that have been said on this franchise, what? Not that big of a deal. But she was kind of real on this podcast. I'm not sure what it was. I put it on my story on Saturday. And she's 37, I'm 35, and she was talking about how Rachel Zoe is huge for our age group. And I will agree, like, she is an icon. I mean, when I met her, I literally had to go brace myself in the corner and stop from crying because I was at BravoCon and I didn't want to ruin my face. Like, it's just, she's everything. And Amanda was kind of saying that that's how she felt about her, that she used to have like watch parties with her friends and they would watch Rachel Zoe, and she had no idea that Rachel didn't like her until she watched confessionals, that Rachel was really nice to her all the way through filming. And then she saw like, oh, she doesn't like me. And she was crying. And I think that this is the first time that I'm seeing any sort of realness from Amanda. You guys need to go find it if you can't see it on my story anymore. Interesting. And I would be devastated if Rachel Zoe didn't like me. So I fully understand that. And I feel like this is my first time that I'm even somewhat connecting with Amanda. But I think that she needs to just be more vulnerable like this and stop acting like you are like the shit at all times, and like go for it. Act like you're the shit. Like Paige Sorbo acts like she's the shit. It's just like a different vibe because Paige has no problem being who she is and talking about like her panic attacks and like deep moments. And Amanda Francis doesn't do that. She just is like robotic. She's like that Megan robot doll that looks like Chucky, the blonde thing. But maybe she's opening up and maybe she needs another season. Let's get into the Bravoholic Breakdown, my hot takes on all of the episodes this week. Starting with Ladies of London. This is my new favorite show. I love all of them. Even though I kind of feel like Kimmy is going to become somewhat of a villain, I think, this is the type of villain, quotation marks, that I love to watch because she is so funny and it's not like that deep. It's just like, you know, she disagrees with Missy and Margot, who I feel like are sweeter, more open and honest, and Kimmy just has a wall up and she wants to drink. And it's like, that's my type of villain. Yes, this group is so freaking funny. And Lottie went shopping with her husband for a push present and they went to Cartier. And she got a $30,000 tennis bracelet. And she said that she can look at it whenever she wants and say, my vagina did that. When typically, I look at my kids and I say, you know what? My vagina did that. But I mean, you can get some diamonds out of it too. Go for it, girl. And Margot was talking about her husband and how he didn't want to marry her. And then she forced him and they got married in Vegas. And I just feel like, even though it sounds like it's so non-romantic, I feel like they might really like each other. I feel like their relationship might be really cute. And she also explained a foot fetish that apparently your brain, something about feet and sexual something are too close together, and sometimes people's wires are crossed, and so they see feet in that way. I'm so glad my wires are not crossed. It's interesting that I feel like mostly men's wires are crossed. Coincidence? And Mark's home, insane. It's like he lives in a museum. I want to know this man and how sweet he is with Emma, his bestie. He's the godfather of her child. And she's having a health scare that she had when she was pregnant, where she like couldn't really breathe. She was having headaches and it was a cyst. And she's apparently has the cyst again and it's all happening again, but she's not pregnant. And something that I hate as a storyline is health scares. And I realized this in the Jesse Solomon thing because we had to like wait a couple weeks to see if he was okay after he had a scan. And that's something that I don't like to wait for. I just want to know, like in the beginning of the season, like laid out there, like just so you know, Emma's okay. Or just so you know, Jesse does not have cancer. Like I don't like that at all as a storyline. But she is okay, seemingly okay right now. She was on Watch What Happens Live recently, but their friendship is adorable. And I really hope she's okay. And doesn't just look okay. Because she was basically saying that she can hold it together. And he was like, well, you don't need to hold it together. But something so funny. You guys better be watching. Because I'm not having another Miami thing where like, oh, it's a really good show, but I don't watch. You guys need to watch this so we don't have another good show canceled. This is like very much worth your time. But when Mark is not on camera, you need to pay attention. You can still hear him. There was a scene where like Kimmy and somebody, Micah maybe, were talking and you could hear him just blabbing in the background. So funny. But the guy, there was like a naked man this week. They were drawing him and Mark was like shy about it. Margot and Kimmy got into a fight. They were pointing fingers in each other's faces and they were talking about like the show, like a fourth wall was broken already. And Margot thinks that Kimmy is jealous or Missy thinks that Kimmy is jealous because she's being open on the show and Kimmy isn't. And everyone's kind of saying that like vodka is Kimmy's therapy and that she's kind of a drunk, which is interesting. And Emma and Mark are her enablers, but Mark still went outside to comfort Missy. I just love this group. It just doesn't feel like they're like, even if you're closer with somebody, it doesn't feel like there's teams like in Beverly Hills or something like that. Like it feels like they're all kind of friends with each other and figuring things out and they're not just in like cliques. Let's get into Summer House. It was interesting watching Ben and Bailey make out after last week when they hated each other. And it was weird because it was like a good kiss, like they liked it. But then in that moment, Bailey realized that she doesn't like him. It's like she was immediately over the argument, okay? But then she's like, I don't like him. And then immediately switches over to Carl, which is so weird. Okay, like Carl is becoming much more of a catch. Like the soft bar, he's together, he's sober, his outfits are better. He is just a very good person, you can tell. But it's interesting because Bailey is going for Carl right after being so obsessed with Ben. And she's closest in the house, seemingly other than Levi, with Lindsay. And Lindsay was full-blown engaged to this man. It's just kind of weird. This whole group is so, like, incestual. Listen to this. I laid it out. The crossovers are crazy. So West and Sierra, obviously. Then Jesse and Sierra have had some feelings. Amanda and Ben, okay, at least one-sided. Ben and Bailey, at least one-sided. Ben and Dara. Ben and Sierra. Is this a song? Ben and Lindsay have had vibes. Carl and Sierra, at least one-sided. Carl and Bailey. Carl and Lindsay. Amanda and Kyle, obviously. West and Dara. And then Jesse has a crush on everyone in the house. I feel like this is the most overlapped we've ever had it. Like, I can't even, like, keep it straight. Like, I feel like they all have crushes on each other. And they all snuggle and they all touch. It's weirder. It's, like, more overlapped than, like, Vanderpump Rules early days right now. But Lindsay was talking crap about Carl and, like, sex life to Bailey. Like, okay, like, go for him, but he's not going to have sex with you. And then Carl in the confessionals was like, we used to be hot and heavy in the early days and then we started to fight. And I want to know like the truth because I don't see that. I feel like I believe Lindsay on that one. But Lindsay is still so mad about Carl. Like I wonder if I don't think she wants him back. Like I really don't feel that. But I feel like she has some work to do because I still feel like she's like really angry about it and really pissed. But there was a Hot Ones episode that was just released, like a little clip of some of the Summer House people. It was West, KJ, Amanda, Lindsay, Mia, Carl. I think that was it. So cute. And KJ says that if he could pick any theme, he would do WWE. And my husband was like, is that going to happen? Because my husband loves WWE. I think that would be a great theme, honestly. I think they should let him do it. But Lindsay for a moment was saying, kiss, kiss, kiss to Bailey and Carl, which is interesting because I don't think that you would really do that if you weren't over him. But I think she needs to work through some anger of like rejection and the wedding and stuff like that. I made a post about Amanda and Kyle at their apartment in full detail if you want to watch it. But I think that moment at the apartment was when Amanda like realized this isn't going to work because Kyle just straight up chose DJing over her. Like she was saying like, want to hang out, want to stop DJing and just hang out, want to stop being so stressed and like focus on Loverboy. I understand he's making money through DJing, but I just think like if he dropped the DJing, he could focus more on Loverboy or like sell Loverboy and focus more on DJing. Like you're not really making any time for your wife and you're just kind of like giving up. But it was weird seeing him get aroused from his kiss with Amanda during that spin the bottle game and walking around with a pillow. Like, was he aroused by Amanda or was he aroused by like everyone kissing? I also get a weird vibe because Mia has said that her and her boyfriend are like end game. Like they seem very healthy from the short moments we've seen them on the phone. He seems very comfortable with her going to this house. They're good. But she was complaining about his job for a brief moment that he's always busy. And it is interesting that he hasn't like stopped by the house to meet everybody. But maybe he is just like giving her moment to like meet everybody and be on the show by herself. But I wonder if they split. And I did get a sense from the mid-season trailer that Jesse has a crush on Mia, which would not be that shocking because I feel like he has a crush on every single moving body that happens to be a woman. West and Sierra are stressing me out because I want them to be together right now. Like I want it to be like this big secret that they're secretly together and romance and love is, you know, in the air. And he made up, he's a dude that messed up and we loved him and he freaking ruined it for himself and he disappointed all of us and he gets better and he changes and he's proves all of us wrong and like wins Sierra back. Like I want that big moment and I want it to be real. But I also wonder if he, you know, deserves that because of the trailer. I don't know what he does. But they are on talking terms right now. Right now. So it's like he couldn't have done something that bad or Sierra would have put him back on probation. But there was a very serious conversation on this most recent episode. I made a whole post about it, but it was great. It was really great to see because these conversations are important and they should happen more often. And Summer House does it right, where it's just an open floor for every type of person to say what they want about, you know, their ethnicity, their past, what they're comfortable with, what they're not, what they've gone through. And it's given Kyle and people in the house ability or space to like reflect on their behavior. Like KJ saying that he has to, you know, not ruin his shot because he's the first Black man in the house made Kyle realize like, oh, I just act like a freaking fool. Like, I don't even think about how I'm behaving. It was such an important moment to watch. And I really, really, really want Southern Charm to take notes and like make space for anybody in the group to talk about their feelings of looking different, feeling left out, whatever you look like, whatever's going on, straight, gay, Black, white, whatever. I just wish there was open communication on that show. It just would be so much better to see that. And then it's like we're not even there. We're so far from that we're talking about like slut shaming on the show. And like Summer House is like way ahead. That's not even a problem. They're talking about such more important things. On to, speaking of Southern charm. Madison wants another baby. I mean, she snaps back. She might as well. And they're so adorable. They might as well make beautiful babies. But the reunion heated up so quickly. They were all after Craig, and I think well deserved. But it was so rude that Sally said apparently at one point that she wanted Craig's body and Austin's personality, which like no thank you personally. But they're both insulted by this. It's interesting. I feel like they might as well become one at this point. Just get married, Austin and Craig. But Madison was saying that Teddy, her baby, might have a crooked lip. I mean, she has the prettiest face. Who cares if she has a little crooked lip? But she got her crooked lip, and I think it makes her more beautiful. I think little imperfections make somebody more beautiful in a way. And she got that from her dad, and she thinks that her baby, who is named after her dad, Teddy, got it from both of them as well, which is so cute. And she said that she is just now able to say her name without crying. And Austin, I was rooting for you. The bar is low with men in Bravo, and I wanted somebody to root for. And I really thought that Austin changed when he was with Audrey, and he probably did. And then just like the second that he broke up with her, he changed back to who he used to be. I think she was like really good for him and changed him in many ways. And the way that he was speaking about Sally, the way that he is like saying that he doesn't want to date her, but like is doing everything that like a boyfriend would. And like you can tell that they're hooking up, and he just doesn't want to say it because he doesn't want us to hate him. And it's making me hate him that he won't just say it. Calling her basically a hoe for doing exactly what he's doing and saying that if she wasn't like that, he would be more interested. Watch. If she even stopped being herself, okay, he still wouldn't want her. Okay, he's just like making excuses, and it's messed up. It's messed up. I also think that Austin wants Audrey back because he can't have her. And she's like the one that got away, but like Madison's the one that got away too. It's like you find these great girls and you blow it, and then you can't get them back. And he's one day going to realize that Sally was probably good for him too. And he's not going to be able to get her back either. But Austin was all about Craig being a narcissist this season, this episode of the reunion. And I fully agree. I think that he at least has narcissistic traits based on what I've learned in my life. But it makes me wonder if Austin is now like Team Paige. Like if he thinks that Craig is that bad of a person, do you think that he has had a conversation with Paige? Do you think that he could be on her side and see maybe why she left? It's interesting. I would love to know if they've ever had a conversation since the split and since this narcissist realization. It's also just like really weird that they're able to say these things to each other and still remain like frenemies and coworkers, and like they own a restaurant together. It's one of the weirdest relationships in Bravo. On to Southern hospitality. Emmy said that TJ was 34 and that he's a grandpa. That just made me dislike you even more. I'm 35. But one day when you're 35, 34, I hope somebody calls you a grandma. That's so rude. I also just don't really care for her in general. 35 and 34 is young. Okay? It was so awkward because Maddie and Joe Bradley were on Watch What Happens Live, and one of the questions that Maddie got is, would she still be together with her ex if they didn't make up that rumor that he cheated? And she said no, that like things happen for a reason and that whatever. But she also like called this guy her soulmate. It's just really awkward, and you can see in Joe Bradley's eyes that he's uncomfortable by it. And I would be too. I mean, she's been crying so hard about it. I wonder if they've had a conversation, or if they should, Maddie and her ex-boyfriend, to just have some sort of closure. And Emmy was so messed up the way that she was speaking to Bradley, like microaggression left and right, like literally. How is she that unaware of what she is saying? It was ridiculous. I don't even want to repeat it. The things that she was saying to him, when he was just responding to what she was saying when she was screaming in public, and she's like, there's no privacy. You are screaming to the point that people can hear you through walls. Don't expect privacy. I really just don't understand how Maddie is friends with Emmy. I don't get it. Joe Bradley was also asked in the clubhouse if he's seen her, Danielle Oliveira, because they used to date, and he said that she's not very nice. Not surprised by that. But he did cheat on her with Luann. My gosh. That he met in the clubhouse, and he said that Luann is very nice, and Maddie agreed, and he said that she will be invited to their wedding one day. And he said maybe she'll perform. Yeah. Can I be invited to watch that? Because that's hilarious. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Kathy Hilton has the hots for the Statue of David. Apparently not the real Statue of David, because apparently the real Statue of David is in the museum in Florence. That was the one outside. Apparently there's multiple. I've been to the fake one right there. I knew where they were, and I knew it wasn't the real one, but whatever. It's like the same thing. But she likes his hands until he was like, Kathy likes her men hard because it's a statue, if you get what she's saying. But Kyle was so fiercely defending Amanda this episode. And people like think that I'm like, oh, don't defend Amanda. Like be mean to Amanda. Like isolate her. That's not what I'm saying. I'm focusing on Kyle alone. Kyle does not do that. Kyle does not defend people like that unless there's a reason. She's not just like, oh, I'm going to defend this person. Like, this is wrong. That's not what Kyle does. Otherwise, we would have seen her do it a million times. She just wants a soldier. Because Dorit has really close friends in this group, like real friendships. They're not soldiers. They're like actual friends that will defend each other. Kyle is like using Sutton and Amanda. I don't think she really respects them. She just wants a team. And I've said this in comments. I haven't said this in a post. But I think that Kyle was strategic and got rid of Lisa Vanderpump. And I think she's trying and thinks she can do the same exact thing to Dorit. I think that she is doing as much as she can. But back then, I was so team Kyle, and I love Lisa Vanderpump. I would do anything for her to be a housewife again. But I love them, I think, probably equally, but I took Kyle's side. Back then, she was like the ultimate housewife. I think she was like the biggest fan favorite. And now it's not like that. And I think she's trying to become that person again, and she has changed so much. But she wants to get Dorit off of this show, and I think she will do whatever she can. And it's so messed up because Dorit needs this show for money. Kathy is team Dorit. Like anytime that Dorit like makes a face or something, Kathy giggles. But why is Kyle so amped up? It's a mask. Like I get that that was mean. It wasn't nice, and Bose should have owned it, and they're kind of like gaslighting her, and I don't know that it's like intentional or not. And Bose made a post yesterday or the day before explaining herself and being like, I didn't mean to do this, like, and was like explaining, go watch it, it's on her page. But which I kind of thought it was weird that she made that post. Like I feel like people usually wait for the reunion, but maybe she felt bad and she isn't used to this backlash. She's used to people liking her. I think the mask compared to other things is very small. And she wasn't saying that Amanda looks like the mask. She was calling her Pinocchio, which people have called each other before on Bravo, and it wasn't that big of a deal. It just means that you're a liar. It doesn't mean that you have like a big nose or something. And last thing, I don't know that Amanda has built a cult, because a cult is like you have something on someone, you're taking their money, you're like controlling them in some way. I think it's more so like a scam. Or like she believes in it, but they're not like buying like a product or something. And there's no like certainty that she will help them in any way. But she's making money off of them, if you get what I'm saying. And Dorit was on Watch What Happens Live, and she was asked about being late. And Andy was saying, like, you never look apologetic about being late. And Dorit's reasoning was because she is embarrassed, and that's why she, like, is trying to just, like, brush it off, kind of like she's embarrassed and doesn't know what to do. And I think I believe that. But then they asked her about the mortgage, the unpaid mortgage, and I felt like she was being so awkward about it. Gosh, I hope they get to the bottom of like their divorce soon and like their finances and figure all of that out, because I'm becoming stressed about the 5 Gucci bags and like spending everywhere. She also said that she thinks that Mauricio popping up everywhere is cringe and that she regrets sitting with Mauricio at that dinner, lunch, whatever it was. And I was going to have Tori on for his segment, but he is taking care of the babies today, taking one for the team while I do this. So he's downstairs with the boys in the comments. So Margot from Ladies of London commented, she was saying, I made a post about how much I love the show, and I was hoping that Real Housewives of Rhode Island will be just as good. And she said, oh my gosh, thank you. I love being on this ride with you. She seems so nice. And I said, you guys are killing it. I think you're the voice of reason. And she said, I would say thank you, except London hates a reasonable person. So that tells me that things are going to be crazy this season. I cannot wait to see what happens. I think her and Kimmy are not going to be doing well. But thank you guys so much for listening. In just a couple hours, we're dropping off the boys to Grandpa and Grandma's, and we're going to the Wings game. So we're going to have a little bit of fun tonight. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys have a good weekend and a good week. Okay, I think I've said enough. If you liked what you heard, please rate, review, subscribe, follow, all the things. And that's what Lindsay says.